Welcome to this knowledge transfer series with myself, Kelvin. Today we're going to be talking about how to upgrade Cisco ISE from 2.4 to 3.0. Now, planning your upgrade. Before you upgrade, there's a few things that you need to consider. So we'll just run through those and make sure that we have those areas covered. So the first point there is to always check the release notes for the version you are upgrading to. The release notes will show you any open bugs, any fixed bugs from the previous version, and anything else that you need to know about the version that you are upgrading to. So it's always worth checking this out. Those documents should be available on the Cisco website. Decide what the best upgrade method is for you. So there's a few different upgrade methods available, and again, the information should be available in the upgrade guides on the within the Cisco docs. You can upgrade devices using the CLI. You can upgrade devices using the traditional, if you like, graphical user interface, or you can upgrade devices by doing a backup and restore. It entirely depends on your ISE deployment as to which method you choose. And also it depends on other bits and pieces such as the risk appetite and the resources available, because each method differs, and some may require more resources and more people, more stakeholders, if you like, involved as opposed to others. So do check out the Cisco docs on the different upgrade methods available. Bug scrubs. Now, you may be familiar with bug scrubs. Now, we as Cisco can provide bug scrubs to customers that engage with this Cisco, and these are really useful for our customers because they show all the bugs, all the known bugs, should I say, important to point out. It shows all the known bugs that are currently open in the version that they're moving to. So if you have, say for instance, profiling, if you use profiling, if you use TACACs, if you use let's say posture, you can reach out to Cisco, engage with Cisco, get a bug scrub done, and again, like I say, I'll point out all the open bugs in relation to the features that you're using in your deployment, and then you can really analyze whether the upgrade's actually worth it. You know, where you're running into more problems than it's worth. Is there a critical bug that would affect your environment based on the features that you're using? And if that's the case, then it might be that you decide to wait for a new patch to be released that, you know, addresses those specific bugs before you decide to upgrade. But nevertheless, ISE 3.0 is the recommended version now to upgrade to. So customers, and I suppose you know, anybody watching this, I believe you'll be watching this because you are on ISE 2.4. Think about upgrading or setting out a plan to upgrade to ISE 3.0. As it stands currently, at the time of doing this video, ISE 3.0 patch 3 is out. Patch 3 addresses quite a lot of bugs from the previous version, so again, do check those out. Check the health of the nodes. So if there's current issues outstanding with those nodes, you know, it may be worth trying to get those issues resolved before upgrading, so that you just avoid any, you know, additional headache that the new version might bring with the issues that you still have. Always take a configuration and operational backup of the deployment, so that you can roll back if required, or if you're using the backup and restore method, then you can use that same backup to restore onto the new version of ISE. Convert your existing licenses to new licenses. Now with ISE 3.0 there's a new licensing model, so you do need to make sure that you fully understand how the licensing model is changed and what that means to your organization and your deployment essentially. So do make sure that you check the licensing model before upgrading, and also as I say, you will need to convert your current licensing to the new licensing model as well. Again, there is Cisco documentation around this, so do look out for that. And if you consult with Cisco, then reach out for that information if you can't find it, or your partners. Ensure that the upgrade still meets the requirements of your licenses. So if you're using, depending on the CPU and RAM, etc. that you're using, you just need to make sure that, based on the deployment models, so the small, medium and large, you just need to make sure that those are still met before you upgrade, or you may be flagged with VM license issues if you're using the virtual machines, at least anyway. So just make sure that the specification, especially if you're using VMs and you're using the ISO file as opposed to the available OVAs, just make sure that the specifications are set correctly. With that, let's get into the demonstration. So today's demonstration, upgrading ISE 2.4 to 3.0. We are using a physical appliance. That appliance is a 3515 ISE appliance. Let's see if I can get that up here somewhere. Okay, so if I just do show inventory, so we can see here that I'm using a 3515 appliance here, chassis. So we're going to be upgrading this today. And as a side note, I've also, because given the appliance 3515 and the upgrade to ISE essentially means the use of more additional resources, what I've been doing as well, just for the sake of this demonstration, is monitoring the current usage of the CPU and memory. So what I will do is I will compare between the two once the upgrade has completed as well, for those that are interested. So with access to our ISE 2.4 device, and it's probably worth pointing out that this is a standalone deployment. It's just one physical chassis running all the personas. So again, if you are using a fully distributed deployment or distributed in some form, then the upgrade process may slightly differ, but aside from that, what we need to do is fairly similar as well. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go to maintenance, and we need to make sure that we have a repository configured, so that you can pull the upgrade file. So you ensuring that you've downloaded the correct upgrade file, and again to point out, standalone deployment, and we're using the graphical user interface to do this upgrade. So configure your repository, and then once you've configured your repository, we need to then go to backup and restore. Make sure you have backed up your configuration data and also your operational data as well, just before you start the upgrade, and then you've got the latest configuration from your current deployment. I'm not going to do this today because I'm just using a lab device, so I don't really care if something happens and I have to start again. Nevertheless, once you've done that, now what we need to do is we need to go to upgrade, and then you'll see your nodes that are listed here. So again, mine's a standalone device. As you can see, it's standalone, but if you do have a distributed deployment or more than one device, you will see the list here that you can select. What you can see here as well, 2.4, I'm running patches 1 and 6. So to in fact, what we should do is probably go back. You'll probably start with this here, this first screen here, upgrade. This just gives you kind of a step-by-step of what you should do. Again, we've covered the backups. Yeah, if you need the logs, I would also recommend downloading the logs if you need them, if you need to retain those logs. Export the certificates and private keys is a fairly good one if you just in case you need to re-import those for whatever reason. If you're just doing a standard upgrade and everything goes well, then you won't need to do that, but just as a precaution, you can download the certificates and private keys as well. Again, we pointed this out, so review the ISE upgrade guides and release notes, and it's got a link there, which is good. Again, another thing we pointed out here was with regards to the upgrade path, so you can always check that. 2.4 we can upgrade directly to 3.0, so we don't need to worry about going to another version before we get to 3.0. Download the ISE upgrade bundle. We assume you've already done that, but there's a link there if you need to do that, or go to software.cisco.com and find the bundle. Sometimes, I guess, goes without saying, making note of the Active Directory join credentials that we used in the first place, and yeah, I guess you can purge the operational data to improve the upgrade performance. Again, that's a good one if you have a large deployment, especially. Again, do just make sure you actually read these before selecting I have reviewed the checklist to be able to continue. So once you've done that, you get through again, like I said, to the nodes, and you may see, depending on how many nodes you've got, will determine what you see here. We're going to be upgrading this node, so we'll just go to select that one and then press download. And then what we want to do is we select our repository, so I'll use FTP. That's going to go off and connect, and it's going to filter whatever's in that directory that's specified in the repository to find ISE upgrade bundle, and as you can see, it's found that there. So I've got the ISE 3.0 bundle, the upgrade bundle from 2.4 etc to 3.0. So I'll just go ahead and select that and press confirm, and then you just get to confirm it again based on the actual bundle name, and then begin download. That's going to download it now. So we can see that it's ISE 3.0. So we just select this the radio button now, and we'll confirm. And again, like I say, we can confirm the bundle here, and then once we're ready we just press begin download, and what that will do now is it will start the download process. We can see that it's in progress, and we can see the status here as well. So now that the upgrade or the download to ISE has been completed, we can see now that the status says ready for upgrade. So when we're ready, we just select continue, and now we can specify an upgrade sequence. As we only have a standalone appliance, we've only got one node, so we don't select any sequence. So what we'll do now is we'll just select that sequence 1, continue, and now we've got that first node, which is a standalone node anyway, as sequence 1 to upgrade. If you have multiple nodes down here, as I said previously, you can select which one you want in what particular sequence. We won't be covering that today in this demonstration, but may cover that in another video in the future. Once that node is in the sequence, we can see that the estimated time is provided. We can see that it says 240 minutes, and then when we can either upgrade, or there's the option there then to continue with the next node if there's more than one node. If, say for instance, that particular node that was upgrading fails, and you can see that it's only applicable for PSNs. So depending on your deployment and the sequence, you may select that, you may not. In this particular demonstration, we're not going to select it because we've only got that standalone. So we'll go ahead now and we'll upgrade that. We get confirmation and a note to say that we can't make any changes in the admin portal until the upgrade process is completed. And once we're ready with that, we'll just select yes, proceed. And you can see now that the status has changed to upgrade queued. So that will that's essentially the upgrade process initiated. You can see the status now has changed to upgrading, and we can see a status here. We will probably be logged out of the UI at some point. So what I would advise is to just monitor the upgrade and the status of ISE from the CLI as well. And as you can see on my screen now, it seems as though I've lost access to the UI, so pretty quick. And if we just look at the CLI, I'll just bring this over here, and we just do a show application status ISE. We can see now that application server's not running, which is why we've lost access to the UI. We can see most of the services or all of the services rather, have stopped. So what we'll do now is we'll just wait until the upgrade has finished. There's also another command we could do, which is show application version ISE. So currently you can see that we have our current version 2.4. We can see the install date of that. We can see the patches that we have installed, so we can see we've got patch 1 and patch 6 installed as well. So we'll just keep an eye on the status, and we'll keep an eye on the version, and then we'll wait until the upgrade is finished. What I will do as well is I will time this upgrade so that we can at least get a feel for how long it really took. You know, did it take as long as it said it was going to take, or longer? And once the upgrade is done, as it has done now. You can see we've got a different user interface. We can see that it has upgraded successfully, and the time is pretty much accurate, to be fair. I think it obviously depends on what is running on your device or devices as well, so do bear that in mind. But if we just, before we log in, let's just go to CLI. And let's do show application version ISE. We can see now that that's changed. We can see that we're on version 3.0. We can see when it were installed, which is today. We can see when the build was released as well. And if we just do show application status ISE, so that we can verify the services running. We can see there that the processes are running as they should be, which is good. So let's just log in before we conclude this video. So just to point out, there were no issues while upgrading using the GUI either, which is good. Provide later. It just tells you what's new in ISE. The license upgrade, as I spoke about earlier on, and post upgrade tasks as well. So let's take a look at these post upgrade tasks. So it actually takes you to a link with some useful information. So the first one is, as I spoke about, converting the licenses. I would recommend doing that before you upgrade, to be honest. And then there's other things such as certificates and rejoining active directories, etc., if that's necessary. We'll just accept and close that, and as you can see now, we have a new user interface which looks quite nice. So yeah, that's how to upgrade our 3515 running ISE 2.4 to ISE 3.0. I did touch on, actually, just before we finish, the hardware resource usage before. So I did just want to take a look at that as well to see if and how that's changed. And actually, looking at my monitoring system, I can see that this device is showing us down now. So let me just have a look at the configuration. I can do pipe. So it looks like the SNMP configuration is no longer there. Let's just have a look at the post-upgrade tasks. That's SNMP for PSNs, so don't worry about that. Let me just do a quick search on SNMP. No, that's the only thing. So that's interesting. It seems as though SNMP is no longer there on the device. So what I will do is I will configure, or reconfigure should I say, the SNMP settings and monitor it for a short time, see if the resource usage or utilization has changed just before I finish off this video, so that we, or anybody that's using the 3515 and upgrading to ISE 3.0 or thinking about upgrading to ISE 3.0 will have a feel for whether it's going to use more or not. Again, it really depends on what you're using the device for. That that will really determine kind of the utilization of the device itself, especially if it's a standalone device as well. So do bear that in mind, and also bear in mind that the device I'm using is a lab device, so there is minimal configuration on there. Nevertheless, like I say, I'll reconfigure SNMP and then I will feed back whether I've seen any change in the utilization. So I am pleased to say that the CPU and memory seem to remain the same on my monitoring system, and we can also see that here on this device, you know, we're operating at around 60% for memory usage, and we can see we had a little spike there, but we tend to be operating quite low on this lab device anyway, with the CPU as well. Memory might, if you are seeing similar, you might want to just keep an eye on that, especially depending on what sort of services you're running on the device. But aside from that, everything else seems quite good. Just before we finish, if we take a look at licensing, I'm using the 90-day evaluation for this lab. However, you can see how the licensing tiers have changed. So we now have Essential, Advantage, Premier, and then we've got Device Admin for TACACS as well. We can see compliance here is shown as evaluation as well. And we can see that my product identifier is 3515 because that's the chassis that I have. So that's how you upgrade, as I say, from ISE 2.4 on the 3515 to 3.0 and a little bit more. So I hope you found that video useful. If you have any questions or comments, please do leave them in the comment section and I'll do my best to answer them and get back to you. If you found this content useful, please do show your support and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up on the video, that would be much appreciated as well. I'm still not sure whether the SNMP issue with the config being removed is a bug or not. However, just do bear that in mind as well. Thank you for watching.